All right, so how you do a safety briefing is you read this and you just go through this in order. So the X system is optional for reservations. I'll usually throw it in at the end because if people want to shoot each other from as close as they want, they can. It's their group. Open play, it is not optional. So first thing you'll go over is the gun. Super simple. Start with how to be safe with the gun. So go over the safety. So tell them, like the safety is located right here above the trigger. The red O-ring means that it's off safety. How you remember that is red means dead. If they can see it, they can shoot. So have them push it in. Then tell them that the next safety on their gun isn't actually on their gun. It's on their hand. It's their finger. Don't pull the trigger. Make sure your safety is on. Super easy. And then the last one is the most important one, which is your barrel bag. This must stay on the entire time unless they're allowed to take it off, and you'll go over in a little bit when they can take it off. Let them know that. Then you'll move on to the hopper. This is where all the paint goes. It shouldn't be too full. They should be able to shake the gun and hear paint moving around on the inside. And then also when they close it, it should make a nice clicking sound. That's how they know their hopper is fully closed. If they don't hear that and they raise their gun up, it's going to pop open. All the paint's going to spill out. Once paint hits the ground, it's 100% useless. Make sure they are not picking up paint off the ground. And then if you really have issues with it, tell them that it's really obvious that they picked up paint off the ground. And just to tell you, it's not like you're going to kick them out for picking up paint off the ground. The last thing you'll go over on the gun is how to make sure it's actually shooting. So the bolt, don't do that before you teach them what the safety devices are. That way they don't just pull the bolt back and start shooting right away. Do that last. Bolt, show them where it's located. Tell them all they got to do is pull it back, and at that point they're good to go. So make sure that when you are handing out guns that they come out decocked. We store them cocked, but once you've tested them, you need to decock them and pass them out. That way they don't just grab the gun and start shooting people or shooting things. So show them how to cock it. The last thing you'll go over on the guns is simple fixes. Tell them the first thing they should check is their safety. The safety is on 50% of the time I fix someone's gun. So tell them to make sure their safety is off. If it still doesn't shoot, check the bolt. Have them try pulling it back. If they pull the trigger and it slides right back forward, tell them not to keep cocking it because it's just going to make it harder for you to fix. And then otherwise, if it's back and the safety's off, tell them to just try pulling on it a couple of times. That might fix the problem. And again, still doesn't fix the problem. Have them call you over. You will go to their bunker and fix their gun for them. They should not be coming to you. You should be going to them. You should also have a spare gun with you when you go over there, just in case you can't fix their gun. And that's pretty much all they need to know about guns, except that if they get shot in the gun, they're eliminated. But you can go over that really any time. The next thing is you'll just kind of walk through what you do when you're actually out on the field. That's the easiest way to remember everything. So you'll explain to them that you'll explain the dead box, what game type they're playing. Doesn't matter what game type they're playing. If they want anything specific, they can ask you for it. What the teams are, I always let people know. I don't care what the teams are as long as the structure as to how they're shooting each other. I don't care. And then you'll kind of split off onto the sides. The next thing you'll go over is kind of what's going to happen when the game starts. So first thing is you'll yell masks on. At that point, they're allowed, or they have to put their mask on, and they are no longer allowed to take it off no matter what. I usually tell them that I straight up don't care if they want to take it off, whether it's hot, foggy, uncomfortable, or they just want to take it off. I will go straight to angry yelling, and I will let them know because I've lost tips because people thought I was just being an asshole. So just let them know you're just going to go straight to angry yelling if you see them take their mask off. That way you're more likely to get tipped if you're kind of being an asshole. You'll explain the masks, then you'll tell them, barrel bags off, but only after everybody's masks are on and when you say so. You'll ask both sides if they're ready, then explain that your countdown is a silent countdown, so you'll say 3 and go. Make sure they confirm that they understand that so people aren't going on 3, and then they're free to start running around on the field. Let them know what happens when they get shot. If it doesn't break, it doesn't count. If it hits a bunker in front of them and splatters on them, it doesn't count. It has to hit them or their gun and break for them to be eliminated from the game. Once they are eliminated, tell them to put their gun up in the air and walk off the field immediately. You are more likely to get shot just sitting there, waiting for people to stop shooting at you, than you are if you just walk off the field Even if people are shooting at you, just get off. Once they're in a safe area, tell them to put their barrel bag on. If you see people walking off the field with their barrel bag still off, don't be an asshole about it. Just be like, hey, throw your barrel bag on for me, and they're pretty nice about it. Don't be a dick about it. It's not super important that they have their barrel bags on in the dead box, just as long as it's on when everybody takes their masks off, which you should be in charge of, which I'll go over in a little bit here. After they walk off the field, they just go to the dead box or the designated area where they're not going to get hit while they're just sitting there watching the game. Then usually I'll go over the surrender rule if they want to do it, yes or no. What else do I usually go over? Ceasefire or a blind man, depending on what you do. It doesn't matter as long as there is some code as to what happens in an emergency. So if someone's mask comes off, if there's an injury and they can't leave the field, or if there's a fire, these are the only 3 times there should be a ceasefire or like a blind man. Usually blind man is just reserved for masks off, but anything ceasefire, those are the only 3 times. It shouldn't just be because, you want the game to end or you want a timeout. I've had kids do that on me before. So make sure they know there's only 3 reasons. And then if anybody has grenades, you'll go over how the grenades work at that point. So X's are reserved only for masks coming off, if someone's being an asshole, if someone's overshooting, if people are swearing at each other, if they are chronoed too high. We do surprise chronos out on the field for open play, if they're using off-field paint. So really just breaking the general rules. I tend to be more lenient with groups with that. Usually I won't give out X's unless it's it's an actual problem, but on open play there is no exception. If they break a rule, they get an X. The first X is a warning, 2 X's they have to sit out a game, and 3 X's is the only place they are allowed to go is the building to turn in their equipment and the parking lot to leave. At that point, they are not allowed back for the rest of that day. So, let people know there's absolutely no blind firing. That's where they stick their gun up over their cover and shoot at what they can't see at. The odds of them actually hitting someone are super low. I've been playing for 12 years and I've never seen anybody get hit with blind fire except for the refs. So just to let them know they're wasting their paint and that you'll actually get pissed off again at them. You'll go straight to angry yelling. That way you can actually yell at them for shooting you.
Can you show us an example of angry yelling?